Hey, it's Rob, and welcome to Axel's Garage. We have a couple of projects to get done today, and of course it's been raining on and off, and now it just, as soon as I came out here with the camera, it started raining, and it stopped. I got everything ready to go, and now it's pouring again. But what happened here with Steve-O was Steve-O's been driving this Jeep TJ, it's Amanda's 97 Wrangler, and he said that he lost his interior lights. And then a few days later, he said to me that every time he starts the truck up, the parking lights are on, even though the switch is off. And then a few days after that, he said that now, in order to get his headlights on, he's got to like jiggle the headlight switch. So this has a regular, push-pull headlight switch in it. So not too difficult of a diagnosis. That headlight switch is probably going bad. A lot of times in these, and we've had this in the past with this particular vehicle, getting caught with the top down in a rainstorm, the dash gets soaked, and a lot of times parts like that go. So we ordered a new one in from Standard, and it's a DS357. We opted not to go with their T series, the DS357T, which is like a little lower quality part that they have for a little bit less money. It was only about a $5 difference. I think this is about 15. The other one was about 10 or 11. We went with the better one because we know that it's gonna get wet again. Made in Taiwan is what it is. Can't get US made parts hardly anywhere anymore. But we're gonna put this in. Not too sure what we have to take apart. I know I've done this before, but I'm gonna get the camera up under the awning so that we're not getting soaked here. And maybe I'll give it a couple minutes and see if the rain will die down, because now it's starting to come down a little heavier. So luckily enough, the rain seems to have subsided for a little bit. So we're gonna take this panel off. This panel's got 2 screws and one on either side. I think this like hinges forward. If I remember right, it's just those 2 screws. Let me try. Just go up all the way. Yeah, hinges forward like that. And then down, and it comes right off like that. That's the switch that we're after. I think it's going to be easier if we take this metal panel down, which looks like it has some Phillips head screws in it as well. Yeah, not really it's a Phillips head with a little nut on it also, so you could either use a nut driver or a Phillips head. Alright, and then this would normally come down, but it looks like we got speaker wires zip tied to it when we ran wires for the speakers, so I'm just going to leave it hanging there. I should have enough access to get up here, and I have to figure out how this is being held in place. So I'm not really seeing how that's being held in place, so I took my new one out to see if there's any mounting, and there isn't, except for right here. Looks like there's some kind of threaded nut that might go in there, so that looks like the way it's mounted, just through the front here. So in order to get at that, you got to pull this plunger out. And in order to pull that plunger out, you got to press this button back here. Now I know from doing these over the years, some of them you have to pull it out and then press the button and pull it the rest of the way out, and some of them you have to push it in, press the button, and pull it the rest of the way out. So you gotta sort of wiggle back and forth in there. So you reach up top, feel for that button. Now I got it in, I press the button down and pull it out, and it don't want to come out. So I'm gonna pull it out. Now I'm gonna press the button down, and it pulls out all the way. So with that out of the way, it looks like this is some kind of nut that might turn. It looks plastic, so you got to be gentle. I'm going to see, maybe I'll go in there with a screwdriver and see if it starts to turn. I'm not sure. I'm going to take a flat blade screwdriver and see if I get, look at that. That seems to be turning nice and easy. So I'll spin it the rest of the way. It's plastic, so you got to be careful, but there it is. It's just some kind of plastic nut. Put that down, and now the switch itself just flops off and it comes forward, and now we can unplug our electrical. Alright, and there's our old one, probably original to the vehicle. Look in here, make sure there's no green and crusty, which there aren't. Looks nice and clean. If it was dirty, I'd spray it out with contact cleaner. It's not. There's no reason to mess with it. This one's got nice brass contacts on it, so I'm not going to use any dielectric grease or anything. I don't need to create a problem with it. Probably isn't one. Now this one, plug right back in. Make sure you got it seated all the way on the two clips, and then we'll hook this guy up right here, and that's in. So what we can do now is plug this guy back in, make sure the lights work, jiggling it, the lights work on, parking lights are on, headlights are on, everything's off. I pull it all the way out, cover it up a little bit to see the interior lights. Oh yep, it dims the interior. The dash lights, we don't have a dome light hooked up in here that runs off of this. Alright, so that's how that works. So now when you want to take this out, just so you can see, you pull it all the way out, you press this button right here, and then it comes the rest of the way out. So now, with the lights on, we're going to slide this back in, and you can see right here on the bottom is a little locator tab, which is going to fit right in the groove there. And you get that in the groove, and then you can take your little plastic nut, and I'll get that in hand tight, and then I'm just going to give it a little bit with the screwdriver here, just to snug it up. You don't want to break that plastic clip. That's probably a bitch to get somewhere. I don't know where you would. That could be a junkyard, that could be anything. And then this can go in at this point, because if you remember, we were able to slide that panel over the rod, or you can leave it out. It's probably, you know what, it might be easier to get it in without that rod there right now. So now we're going to take this metal panel, we're going to slide it back up into position where it was. So this metal panel didn't have to come out at all. You actually had enough room in there, just makes it a little bit easier. And then we'll buzz the 4 screws in for the metal panel, and we can put our trim panel back on. Alright, so once I got the metal panel, this goes in the bottom. It should hinge right up. You gotta sort of squeak it by the ignition switch there. So what happens is when you're putting this in right over here, has a tendency to get caught on the ignition switch ears. So you gotta squeak it by there, which it does squeak by. You just gotta give it a little bend as you're putting it up. If you really wanted to, you could I think you could hold the wheel up a little higher when this is, I don't know, but you just bend it out a little, it goes in. No sense in making a project out of it. Alright, that's in nice, and then the last thing you need to do is find the hole in there, put that in, and now once you get it all the way in, it should lock in place. Why am I not getting it all the way in? Alright, it's in. Oh, there we go. Alright, so you gotta give it a little wiggle until you get it to lock in, and once it locks in, good to go. Easy enough. DS357. There's the old one. Just dirty, rusty, and worn out, really. All right, so that's it. It was pretty easy, inexpensive part, 15 bucks. He's back saddled up. I gotta write this one, you know, a notebook. I keep a notebook with everything I do on each of the vehicles because it just gets confusing after a while. I gotta check his mileage, check his fluids, do all the things that dads do while they have the car to make sure he's going good down the road. And that's it. He can continue on with this thing, and I'm going to continue on to the next project. And if you guys could continue on, down below in the comments and let me know what you think, what your experience has been, and any questions or concerns you might have. And as always, thanks for watching.